Welcome back to the podcast. I am Kraig Strom. Yes, Kraig Strom, the income engineer. I am a certified financial planner and a paralegal at an awesome law firm. And I've had a number of folks, listeners, reach out, send me an email at Kraig with a K at kraigstrom.com asking where I've been. Well, fortunately, I've been busy, blessed to be busy, and a bit burned out on podcast. And I got to tell you, I'll be honest, burned out on folks procrastinating those things that they don't need to do, but they really should do, right? I've gotten kind of burned out on folks procrastinating these really important things that are not urgent. And I'm specifically referring to estate planning, living trusts, limited liability companies, asset protection, doing those things that are truly important. They're just not urgent. They're not as important as planning the next vacation or buying a car, or what did someone procrastinate just last week? Getting their living trust done. They have 3 children, no guardianship provisions whatsoever, and they procrastinated. They put me off getting it done with them for a trip to Florida. They're going to Florida on vacation and doing a cruise or whatever they're doing. That's why they're going to procrastinate. They're not going to get their estate plan done and their guardianship provisions in place for their children and their inheritance directions and everything for what to do with their estate. They're going to put that off and go on a vacation instead, which is all well and good. And yet, if something bad happens to mom and dad, those kids are going to have one heck of a rough time, and the family's going to have a heck of a rough time settling up their estate because it's quite complicated. Folks, I've been a bit burned out on the procrastination stories, and I've got to share 2 examples. One's a good one, one's not so good. And they happened recently. It's now going to be probably 4 or 5 years ago. I met someone through a CEO peer group. This is someone that I met that's running a very successful company, very busy, making a lot of money. They have all kinds of things going on in their life. And what they didn't have going on in their life was an estate plan. They had multiple limited liability companies. Their attorneys had set up S Corps. They did DIY LLCs for rental properties in Nevada. They had all of these business entities and things, and they're just doing great. Well, they met me through a CEO peer group presentation, and one of the big ticket items that I recommended, highly recommended, was, man, get your estate plan done. Get your will and your living trust and make sure that your family doesn't have to suffer through probate. Well, what did they do? Nothing. They did not do anything. They procrastinated. Oh, I've got to do this. I've got a deadline for that. I've got a new project. I'm buying this. I'm building a rental property. They've got plenty of asset protection, by the way, not done right. They did not have their LLCs and S Corps and all this kind of stuff done right. Now, they went off and procrastinated because they've got this project or that thing, or they've got to do that, or this is, I've got, and they, oh, that's right. And they went on vacation. Okay. Okay. They went on vacation. It seems to be a common thread, even with recent stuff. Well, the somber reality of this example is the bad news that I received recently. There was a terrible, terrible accident. And both husband and wife did not survive the accident. Children are okay. They weren't with them. But mom and dad did not survive. And someone found my business card in dad's stuff in his office, because remember, I met him through a CEO peer group presentation, and we met and we talked about this stuff, and he decided, we'll do it later the estate plan and everything. Well, someone found my business card and called me hoping that there was, the first question they said was, after telling me that these people had died, was, did your firm by chance do a living trust? Their accountant said that they were hoping that there was a living trust somewhere. And I said, no, unfortunately not. No, they didn't have anything. They didn't have a living trust. They have all these LLCs and rental properties and all this stuff, but no living trust to connect all the dots. Folks, the end result of my call with these folks was, I'm sorry, the only thing that I can imagine is going to happen at this point is that entire estate is going to go into probate in California and in Nevada, and I think they had a property in Texas. So they're going to open California, Nevada, and Texas probate, and it will likely cost $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 in probate fees and lawyers, and they did not have custody arrangements established for their minor children. So they'll have to hire a family attorney that'll go through and petition for guardianships and get all that in place. Folks, my goodness, right? One simple thing, like just spend the time, get your estate plan done. In that case, no, they went off on vacation and they had a bunch of other stuff. I'll get to it later. Well, I never heard from them again. They were on our mailing list, but never heard from them again until I got that terrible phone call. And I had to be the bearer of bad news. Now, I'm going to leave this with a good one, though. I promised I was going to give you two. About 15 years ago, through a speaking engagement at a local real estate organization, I met this wonderful woman, and her name is Marie, and her name was Marie. And I met this wonderful woman, and she was a realtor of old. And just so you know, 15 years ago, Marie was, she was not a spring chicken. And she was still active, though. Active. She's still selling houses and being there at the real estate events. And that's where she met me. And she asked me for one of these complimentary conversations, a nice consultation. And so we chatted, and she said, you know, after all these years, she said, Kraig, I've never done my living trust. And she said, I don't know what it is about you and your presentation, but I feel like you're the right guy to help me. And so I did. I helped her through my law firm get her living trust, her estate plan, her will, her powers of attorney. All of those things were done. It's about 15 years ago, remember? 15 years ago. And it was in great shape. There was not much else at that point to assist with. We did help with some limited liability companies and updating things through the law firm. But really, she was just on cruise control, and she moved away from doing real estate and just lived off of her rental property income, and she was comfortable. We stayed in touch, chatted, said hello now and then, but she was just doing okay, getting older. Well, fast forward now, of course, 15 years later, I've got the phone call from her daughter that she had passed away, that Marie had passed away at nearly 100 years old. She passed away, and her daughter was concerned, you know, what do we have to do? What do we have to do? And I was able to say, Susan, everything's okay. Your mom had her bank account open properly in the name of her living trust. She had all of her LLCs connected back to her living trust. Everything's connected. She had her rental property and her vacation home connected properly. All of it was connected back to an estate plan. And her daughter is worried, oh my gosh, it's going to be so difficult, beneficiaries and charities. Nope. I was able to tell her daughter, Marie's daughter, that everything actually would work out very smoothly because her daughter was her trustee and just steps right in and will take care of business. It will not be a difficult process. I did not say that it will be super easy. It might take 6 months to 12 months to settle up the estate, to sell properties, to be able to transfer monies to grandchildren and beneficiaries and so forth, but it won't be super hard. It's not going to be that difficult. I was able to tell her daughter, no, everything's fine. She's got everything set. Well, she had everything set to make life as simple as possible for her daughter, who was going to then settle her estate and, frankly, benefit tremendously from an inheritance from her mom. So instead of leaving her daughter with this nightmare of probate, what Marie did was, I think, the ultimate love letter. She left her daughter this well-done, completed estate plan with everything connected properly so that settling that estate is going to be a step-by-step easy process for her daughter. So yes, you don't need to do an estate plan. That is correct. You only want to do one if you love your kids, you love your family, you hate the idea of the government sticking their paws in your business when you're gone. Okay? So if you're watching this and you're thinking, I'm one of those people that's procrastinating this, just like Kraig said, then do something about it. Take action. I am always willing to see if I can help. You can also reach out to your own attorney, business attorney, family friend, whoever it is. Really have an attorney do your estate plan. Don't DIY that. Seriously, don't. There's mistakes constantly made with people DIYing their estate plan. Okay? So the bonus DIY mistake I'll tell you is somebody DIY'd an estate plan earlier this year, right, that I heard about, and then lost the signed documents. They did it all online and they signed it. I think it was like a Susie Orman kind of a deal. And mom and dad signed everything. And they even put their house in their trust. Sounds good, right? No. When their daughter tried to sell the house, because mom and dad died, daughter tried to sell the house, the title company said, oh, we need a copy of that living trust. Couldn't find it. Had no record of it anywhere. There's no law firm to call. There was nobody because they did it all online. Nobody had a record of the signed documents. They had to go to probate. Okay? So again, if you're one of those folks thinking, I think maybe Kraig is talking directly to me. I'm one of those procrastinators. Take action. Do what so many others have done and get your estate plan updated. Make the connection. Send me an email, Kraig with a K at kraigstrom.com, KRAIGSTROM.com. Take care, folks. Yes, I will be off and on with the podcast. Hopefully you're taking in the content and you're listening to these things and you're going back into some of the old episodes. Send me an email. I'm always willing to see if I can help. Take care. Bye for now.